Hi everyone. I thought I would do this chat with Deb outside in my backyard. It's a beautiful Wisconsin day and I'm just feeling like I cannot be inside today, so here I am outside. This month in Teachers Engage we're talking about learning spaces. So this chat with Deb is all about updating your classroom setup, and I'm excited to share with you. So I've been scouring the internet for all kinds of great ideas for you. We'll talk about the what and the why of classroom redesign. Then I have a bunch of design ideas for room arrangement. I also am going to show you how I rearranged my 5th grade classroom a few years back on very little money. We're talking almost $0. I'm also going to show you some ideas for some visual displays. I have some great tips for you for in the classroom. We'll talk about seating, and finally we're going to end up talking about Generation Z. Currently there are quite a few trends in classroom redesigns. I think the biggest ones are moving from teacher-centered to student-centered, and then just making your space a very comfortable space for students. A lot of natural light, the shoeless environment, a space where you feel like just kind of kicking off your shoes and relaxing, but also offering a mix of technology as well as variety of seating, because not all students learn the same. Some students learn really well sitting on a couch or a comfy chair. Others need that traditional hard seat and tabletop. Just giving that variety, lots of choice, lots of voice. And then there's a why of redesigning a classroom. Well, first of all, it's going to bring us into our 21st century, helping students who are different from the types of students we were when we were being taught, and also just shifting our teaching mindsets, knowing that we can't teach the same way we were taught. Students today are very different, and we're going to talk about at the end of the chat with Deb what Generation Z students are all about. Let's take a look at some classroom arrangements that really resonate with me. I love what I'm seeing in these pictures I found as I was looking for different sites across the internet. And this little area right here is so awesome. I love that there's colorful little balls hanging from the ceiling. There's a neat little lamp over here, some comfortable seating chairs. Look at how easy these little crates are to put a cushion on top of, colorful rug. This would work so well in any elementary, middle school setting. I also love this as well. Look at the really cool artwork on the wall. It looks very like child-centered. It was probably even made by students. Some great big pillows, a nice comfy rug, some painted suitcases. It just looks like a very homey, comfortable, wonderful place to spend some time. Now, I came from a very traditional classroom where I had literally $0 to spend, maybe a little bit of my own money if I wanted to invest. And so what I decided to do was first of all declutter. So I'm going to show you a picture of my classroom before I decluttered. Here's one wall of my classroom. We had a ton of cupboards and a really nice countertop area, but there was so much stuff just stored, and I realized I needed to declutter. So I did that, and I ended up with this. This is my after. You can see I added some of those tissue balls up here in the corner, and I put some lighting, I put some clings of sayings or quotes on my walls. We straightened everything up. One of the sites that really helped me with my classroom redesign is a site called Classroom DIY. I put a link to it right here in the presentation so you can click and go there. And as you can see, this post was the one that I used to make the really cool tissue paper hanging balls, and the site shows step-by-step directions. So I followed this to a T. They turned out great. And another thing that I used from the Classroom DIY site was instructions on how to make these awesome chair backs. And if you click this link, the second one right here, it'll take you to that site and it will show you the exact instructions of how to even measure and make those chair backs. So I followed these directions on the site. For mine, I used fleece and they turned out great. What this did was it allowed students to be able to move to any desk in the room. Rather than having an assigned desk, students could easily go anywhere because the chair back held the materials they needed on a day-to-day basis, but their personal materials they could just carry in their backpack. And what I loved was they could just grab a name tag and sit anywhere in the room. Worked out great to make it much more flexible for our students to sit where they chose. It doesn't take a lot of dollars to make changes in your classroom and your room arrangement. I love this classroom right here that's being shown, and this came from a site called Classroom Cribs. You can follow Classroom Cribs on Twitter with the hashtag Classroom Cribs. You can also click these links to see additional videos and pictures of teachers who have made it their mission to redesign their classrooms and make them more suitable for 21st century learners. So feel free to click these two links and explore further. There's some great videos This has been taking place for the last couple of years, led by a couple of ed tech leaders, and it's just awesome to follow Classroom Cribs and see how people are transforming their learning environments. Now, another thing we can look at is just visual displays and what you put on the walls of your classroom. I'm a big proponent of making your displays very student-centered. Let your students display their work. Put things on the walls that represent them. Here are some links that you can follow for ideas. I love the Really Good Stuff site because it has really good stuff. I also like how they show the 3 types of bulletin board. The display boards that display student work, the informational boards that just give information or reminders, and interactive boards where the students can actually interact and have an opportunity to actually use the materials. And of course, being a tech lady, I love these examples of clever ways to use social media in a bulletin board. So I found these examples on this website. You can click this link and visit this blog post. I also love this great tip that I found on Pinterest of taking a straw and duct taping it at the top of a desk for students to be able to put their pencil in there so it will not roll down their desk when they open the desk. Great for elementary, middle school students. I love that tip. I have a few other tips for you. I found this great tip about using sticky notes to have students use an exit ticket on their way out the door to show their learning. So this link will take you to a site that has way more examples than these 3. Here's another tip. I don't think I need to say more. I could use this tip right in my own classroom, right? We all need to focus sometimes, and we know we have clock watchers. I thought this was so clever. What a great idea to keep kids just focused. You can put reminders like this all over your room to help keep your students on task. This came from a website. You can click the link right here. And one more great tip. I saw this on a website. You can check it out right here in this link. The idea of collecting cell phones as students come in the room, but also giving those cell phones a place to be able to charge if students want them charged. Here's a neat idea. These little frames are available from IKEA, and they're 2-sided frames. The site is called Teaching My Friends, and this person wrote a blog post about how affordable the IKEA classroom can be. So I love that as you scroll through the post, they show different things that they've purchased through IKEA and even give the prices of these great features. So here's the little frames that we had purchased. Actually, I got them from my friend Naomi Harm. Now, if you're lucky enough to have some budget money, or if you're looking to do a GoFundMe or some other type of fundraiser and you want to purchase some seating for your classroom, there's these Arcobel chairs and No chairs. They're so awesome. Let's take a look. These chairs can be used very effectively for group work around tables. And then the Node chairs, those are awesome too. They have a place to hang backpacks, or you can use the bottom dish, and then they also can come with a tray. And these make everything very mobile within a classroom. Now, when I was doing my classroom redesign, I had $0 to spend on seating. I did not have money, so what I did was I simply took the seating we had and rearranged it. So here you can see we put a table over in one area for group work, and we had a window seat with a beautiful window. We added curtains to that window, and then we put a rectangular table right up against the window seat. Our students absolutely loved working by this lighted window, and I don't blame them one bit. It just kind of got you out of that stale indoor light environment. So here's another picture of that window seat, and you can see students working by that table. It became one of our most popular seating places for students. I think one of the reasons that talking about redesigning a classroom for students today is so popular is because we're talking about a different generation of students. This generation is called Generation Z. These are students who were born between 1995 to the present, or in other words, they're 18 years of age or younger. And to me, we have to consider that the students we teach are very different students from the types of students that we were when we were in the classroom. I have a checklist to share with you, and the link is here if you want to check out the resource where this came from. This checklist talks about being able to connect to this Generation Z. And I'm not going to read the whole checklist to you, but I think it's important for us to understand where these students come from, what they represent. When we change ourselves as teachers to understand Generation Z and the technological world that they live in, and when we change our instructional practices and we allow students the opportunities and choice in a classroom, that will help teachers to manage technology. It'll also help students to be able to use the technology effectively. I hope you enjoyed this chat with Deb. Sometimes you don't have money. I didn't. But you can still make small changes. And those small changes that you make can make amazing things happen. I hope if you decide to make just one small change in your classroom environment that you'll share it with the rest of us in the Engage community, or on Twitter, or on Facebook, or wherever. And I wish you the best of luck setting up your classrooms, and I wish you the best of luck for a great 2016-2017 school year. Bye, everyone.